Well, folks, this article by the Times newspaper really does sum everything up that's wrong with the British Army today. This woke nonsense, as I predicted, has come in from the officer corps. The progressive poison was injected into the British Army via Sandhurst like a plague, a virus brought in by left-wing students who studied in universities that was soaked in extreme left-wing ideology. These students then became officer cadets, and after 44 weeks training, they then joined their respective regiments. Now, one of these cadets is a Lieutenant General Nesbith. As you can see in this photo, she was a brigadier at the time, but she's now a general, and she was none other than the author of the Army Race Action Plan, which advocated for easing security checks to help drive diversity and inclusion. Now, that should tell you absolutely everything about Lieutenant General Nesbith. I mean, could you imagine back in the day when the British Army was the British Army? It didn't have a drop of wokeness within it. And she slaps this plan on the desk of a superior officer. And I promise you folks, it would have been ripped up in her face before being told to bugger off at the office and put her head in a bush, along with a few extra duties. But no, not in today's British Army, because as we know in previous videos I've made, and I haven't enjoyed making them, ladies and gentlemen, I really haven't. My 8 years in the mob still influences things I do in Civvy Street and the way I am. It'll always be with me. So to see the British Army turn like this, it's quite depressing. So anyway, the latest nonsense by Lieutenant General Nesbith is that she has complained that the army is, and get this, too hierarchical. I think I've pronounced that right. So basically, this woman doesn't like the fact that there's hierarchy in the British Armed Forces. So there she is, a Lieutenant General, one of the highest ranks in the British Army, just 2 ranks below Field Marshal, and she's complaining there's a rank structure in the British Army. As Lieutenant General, she can enjoy an enormous salary and a gilt-edged pension. When she retires from the army, she will never have to work again. And it's all thanks to the hierarchy within the British Army, which helped her get there. Well, you know, it's not just the hierarchy, is it? With people like her, it'll be box ticking. I think people like Lieutenant General Nesbith would rather people climb the ranks due to box ticking than meritocracy. And if that happens, then Britain is ripe for the picking. Absolutely any country can invade, and we won't put up much of a fight. Because all the enemy has to do is shout over the wrong pronoun, and then that's it. Waterworks, rifles down, stomping feet all over. And talking about being defenceless, you know, it's all about, I'm going to tell you again, Yuri Bezmenov. Please look up Yuri Bezmenov on YouTube. There's loads of videos on him. It is a master plan to weaken society, weaken our armed forces through woke policies and ideology, and thus making us ripe for the picking. And the Foreign Secretary, David Cameron, he is currently down at the Falkland Islands. No doubt he's down there to make a deal and give them away to the Argentinians. And when the Argentinians get a sniff of what this ridiculous, daft general has just said about hierarchy within the British Army, then quite frankly, I wouldn't blame them for, taking another punt at trying to take the Falkland Islands. Wouldn't you? I mean, look at the state of the British Army. I definitely would. In fact, I'd fancy my chances. This is yet another woke nail in the coffin of the British Army, and it's all thanks to people like Lieutenant General Nesbith, who slipped through the net and box-ticked her way up the ranks. And there we go. I'm Paz49. Thanks for listening, and until the next time, Roger Trout.